We look forward to it, and let's come back home to the Kenyan Premier League, where, of course, Gor Mahia Kogalo showed why they're the best defense forces locally as they beat Police 2-1, while AFC Leopards are also roaring their way to challenge for the league title. Let's take a look at how the action went across various stadia in the country. Gor Mahia beating Police. Your thought, did you predict that win?
It was a tough win for Gor Mahia, and I think it was the second goal. Perhaps we didn't have the opportunity to watch it on screen. A sublime pass from the goalkeeper, one touch, and Omala did his job. What I like about Gor Mahia is that they soaked a lot of pressure. There were issues around Gor Mahia made through the first half of the season.
Mainly finances.
Yes, mainly finances. But I like the fact that they came back. You can see a team that has resilience. They move from one match to the other. And as you watch them play, other than the match they lost against KCB, they've been winning matches week in, week out. Consistency is quite important. And kudos to Gor Mahia. I was not expecting Gor Mahia to be wherever they are. In fact, when they were going to play Police, I believed that Police was a team to stop Gor Mahia. Gor Mahia conceded the first goal. They came back, equalized, and eventually, a few minutes before the end of the game, they picked the win. Kudos to Kogalo. And
actually, they have a 4-point cushion at the top of the table. Zita, how do you see this pan out? Not Chitera really, but Rocha has always pitched for Police, saying they're doing some good projects and so forth. But Gor, I've just seen we are still the kings in the Kenyan football.
I think the big boys are shaping up, because if you see the win of Tusker win, FC Leopards win, you can see the win for Gor Mahia. So the big boys are trying to take the shape coming up. And now that's why when last Monday when you asked me that which team are you going to see like winning the KPL, I was like, it's too early for us to predict. So for me, the big boys are taking the shape. And the Gor Mahia game, when I look at Police, I look at more of the former players who are playing for Gor Mahia are in Police. So and so looking at the Police and Gor Mahia playing, but it was a very good match, and Gor Mahia winning the match was like, we want this. We still need the KPL Cup in our pocket. And then something else is like, kudos to the coach, because he's now using the young players. Like they didn't do any. There was a transfer, but they haven't signed any player. They're using the youth player to play for the big team. So for me, I think kudos to the coach for each and everything he's doing. The consistency he has for the winning of Gor Mahia. I know the coach has a bond to chew with Kianda, so I think Kianda will speak about that. Kianda, please.
Actually, I'll be coming to but Kianda, I want you probably to talk to this, because you engaged Omala in midweek, but look at it. This young man has now scored 16 league goals after yesterday's goal, actually the top scorer. But this is somebody who just was plucked from Kisumu Day 2 seasons ago, and is now doing so well. Kianda, what do you make of this?
Omala is going to break Boniface Ambani's record. I spoke to Boniface Ambani a few weeks ago, and he told me he sees his record that he set in 2006. Actually, he's seeing that record being broken by Omala. Why? What has changed with Omala this season? I mean, he's having less touches in the box in terms of hataki kucheza na mpira sana. He knows, I have the ball, I need to put it in the back of the net. That's actually what the coach said when he scored his second hat-trick of the season. As a striker, what you need to do is, you're in front of the goal, just convert. Wacha do idomingi. And I think that's one thing that Omala has really done this season. What is the team doing? I think they've converted the team to play for him in terms of, they haven't signed players, they've been banned from signing. But they took it as a stepping stone. and the team, the assist, the team is playing, I mean, they're playing for Omala. Shika, funga, funga, funga. They're giving that chance to score, and he's actually converting those chances. Now, I have to say this. I interviewed Omala when he was in Form 3, playing at Kisumu Day. Yeah. That was a match between Western Steamer and Gor Mahia. He was playing for Western Steamer while still in school. And I asked him, people are saying, like, you look like you're the next Dennis Oliech because of his power, his pace, his accuracy in front of the goal. I mean, this is courtesy of one man called Salim Babu and the late Henry Omino. They're the ones who gave him that opportunity to play for Western Steamer. And you can see, Western Steamer used to be like an academy for Gor Mahia. They took very many players from Western Steamer. What does it tell you? The same thing is working with Nzoia, which according to me, the team that is struggling big time, but finding that opportunity to at least grind results in the Kenya Premier. No one expected a team that finished 14th last season to avoid relegation that is fighting for the trophy. What does it tell you? It is about nurturing talent, going to the grassroots. Look at that Nzoia FC team. Ni watoto tu walikuwa wanacheza kwa high school huko, St. Anthony's Kitale huko, kwa tournaments huko Ushago. But Salim Babu has that eye to support this talent. I mean raw talent. If many teams can do that, I think you're going to see a much improved Kenya Premier League because of the talent that you see. If you watch Nzoia play, they're playing good football. No big names, no egos. So we need to nurture more talent. That's the only way we can have the likes of Omala. Who knew? Omala, kutoka tuko Kisumu Day na wapi. So more of them go to the grassroots and put in proper programs to get the talent from Mashinani, because that's where actually football is.
Arocha, still staying on this Omala story, but I want to give comparison. Look at it this way. Dennis Oliech at 18 was actually, he had already captured the national imagination, going to Al Arabi in Doha, then in Qatar rather, and later French Ligue 1. Then look at Blackberry Odhiambo again at 18, winning the KPL Player of the Season, going all the way to Denmark. Things didn't work out for him. Omala is also pretty young, 2021. Of course, he went to Sweden. Things didn't work out for him. He's having a good season in KPL. Is it time for him to develop that shock, go to Europe, develop for 2-3 seasons and break to the top league? What do you make of his development? Well,
I think it's the background of these players. Look at Dennis Oliech. He has a background within the city, Jagoreti and all that. Look at for another player like McDonald Mariga. He has the city kind of environment where he was brought up in Ram, Kamkunji constituency. Then look at the flip side. Look at, for example, Blackberry. Blackberry came from Homa Bay. And I think when Blackberry came into the scene, after a season or so, he went to Europe. He could not fit. For me, I think it's the culture shock. The fact that he came from a very humble beginning in Homa Bay, and then a year or so in Nairobi before he went to Europe. He could not cope. The same thing happened to Omala. When Omala came from Kisumu Day, he moved straight to Europe, and he could not fit. The mental strength was not still ready. He was not ready mentally to take pressure. Because in Europe, it's not as easy or as rosy as many would like to believe. Because, for example, I talked to Omala when he came from Europe. He was taken as a defender. When he went there, the coach just looked at him, the way he was handling the ball. And felt he could fit in a wing-back. Yes, he went to the wing-back. And because he was not mentally ready, he came back to Kenya. So I think in another season, Omala will be ready to challenge the big boys in Europe. Therein lies the problem, which I need you to tackle. How do we prepare our players when they go to Europe? Because you've given a very good example, culture shock. They are not ready. How do you make these players know you're going there, you need to work hard? Because not many players get the opportunity. Omala had to go to Sweden, for instance. I think mentorship is also very important. The likes of Dennis Oliech, the like of Victor Wanyama, the like of McDonald Mariga should be given an opportunity to have a talk to these young lads. Because when you just move from a very humble beginning and move to Europe, you don't know much. You don't know the fact that even if you, as when Omala went to Sweden, he was put as a defender. If he had had a talk with Dennis, Dennis would have told him that even him, when he went to Europe for the first time, Dennis, when he went to
Qatar.
For 6 months, Dennis did not play. For 6 months, Dennis was just training, scoring goals, and he was not given an opportunity. So he had to persevere. So I think we just need that mentorship, somebody to talk to these young lads and tell them that it's not as easy. When you're living in Kenya, people sing of Blackberry or Diambo, they were singing of Omanyala. But when you go to Europe, nobody knows you. You need to start building your own profile when you are there.
I think also, I mean, you talked about mentorship, which is a good thing. These are programs that Football Kenya Federation need to set up. But also, I think some of our star players, when they go outside, they're just selfish and they come back. They don't want to mentor more. They want to be, I am still the one. How many times have we seen these guys coming up, these legends who played football abroad, with programs that can walk across the country and tell these people, come on, this is what happens. This, like you put it, unda seminar, even the kunaenda with Kenya Premier League clubs, tell them exactly what to explain. Don't just come and go for December tournaments, hapa na pale nini, and then, I mean, when someone has a problem, maybe una donate. Olunga, Mariga, Wanyama,
Big Vic,
I mean, Marcelo, come up with a program. Come and be a Jama. This is what you expect. Well, no. When you go out, this is what you expect. There will be language barrier. Mimic.
And they don't
how strong can you be mentally?
Like you.
Yeah.
The players you meet there, they don't want you there.
Yeah.
But something else, as much as we're saying these people come they should come in to talk to the players here. I think even you as a player, you have to have your mind set on what you want. Because if you have an opportunity that unaona hapa naenda kupata kusaidia familia yangu, because you've talked about the background that each and every team, like maybe Omala ametoka huko nyumbani, and then the background should push you to do the best where you're going, to do your best where you're going. Because you can't tell me like Cristiano Ronaldo alitoka nini kwa ghetto, watu wengine walitoka huko ndani. So for me, I think of course there's a different, when you go there kuna vitu mingi utapitia, but you have, even you as a player, you have to have your mental straight. Like you have to put everything that you have in your akili straight.
No,
because
Zeta, there's a, okay, I agree with what you're saying, but there's something about being mentored by someone who has experienced that thing. Akikwambia huku utasikia ndizi imetupwa, usichukue ukule kwa sababu Dani Alves alichukua kakula kwa Barcelona wakitoa na wakimtupia ndizi. There are things when someone who has been there tells you, it gets into your mind and gives you that mental strength. And that's why I want to challenge them. Come up with programs, lies with Football Kenya Federation, because we want to see more star players out there. You know, there are many young players who are eager to hear. Wanyama aliniambia hivi. Unaona? Nikaa vile mtu Arocho Iswila mkienda hapa nje jamaa kuja nataka tu kukuona. Nataka tu unimente, unisaidie tu hivi na hivi. There is a difference between yeye kusoma, work hard na yeye kuambiwa ni aje you can make it by this.
How it happens.
Unaona? So selfishness tupunguze kidogo.
Before you proceed on, I think it will be not fair
Your KCB.
to FC Leopards.
Actually, we're coming there. And that was my next question. And Zita, maybe